Rusty remained on tiptoes for a second, wondering whether to attack anyway. Then he remembered the strength he had felt in the kitten's paws when he had pinned him to the ground. He dropped onto his pads, loosened his muscles, and let his spine unbend. "And I'll fight you again if I have to," he growled. "I'm Graypaw, by the way," the gray kitten went on, ignoring Rusty's threat. "I'm training to be a ThunderClan warrior." Rusty remained silent. He didn't understand what this gray whatsit was meowing about, but he sensed the threat had passed. He hid his confusion by leaning down to lick his ruffled chest. "What's a kitty pet like you doing out in the woods? Don't you know it's dangerous?" asked Graypaw. "If you're the most dangerous thing in the woods has to offer, then I think I can handle it," Rusty bluffed. Graypaw looked at him for a moment, narrowing his big yellow eyes. "Oh, I'm far from the most dangerous. If I were even half a warrior, I'd been given an intruder like you some real wounds to think about." Rusty felt thrilled of fear at these ominous words. What did this cat mean by intruder? "Anyway," meowed Graypaw, using his sharp teeth to tug a clump of grass from between his claws, "I didn't think it was worth hunting you. You're obviously not from one of the other clans." "Other clans?" Rusty echoed, confused. Graypaw let out an impatient hiss. "You must have heard of the 4 clans that hunt around here. I belong to ThunderClan. The other clans are always trying to steal prey from our territory, especially ShadowClan. They're so fierce, they would have ripped you to shreds, no questions asked." Graypaw paused to spit angrily and continued, "They come to take prey that is rightfully ours. It's the job of ThunderClan warriors to keep them out of our territory. When I finish my training, I'll be so dangerous, I'll have the other clans shaking in their flea-bitten skins. They won't dare come near us." Rusty narrowed his eyes. This must be one of those wildcats Smudge had warned him about, living rough in the woods, hunting and fighting each other for every last scrap of food. Yet Rusty didn't feel scared. In fact, it was hard not to admire this confident kitten. "So, you're not a warrior yet?" he asked. "Why? Did you think I was?" Graypaw purred proudly. Then he shook his wide, furry head. "I won't be a real warrior for ages. I have to go through the training first. Kids have to be 6 months old before they even begin training. Tonight is my first night out as an apprentice." "Why don't you find yourself an owner with a nice cozy house instead? Your life would be much easier," Rusty meowed. "There are plenty of housefolk who'd take in a kitten like you. All you have to do is sit where they can see you and look hungry for a couple of days." "And they'd feed me pellets that look like rabbit droppings and soft slop," Graypaw interrupted. "No way. I can't think of anything worse than being a kitty pet. They're nothing but 2-legged toys. Eating stuff that doesn't look like food, making dirt in a box of gravel, sticking their noses outside only when the 2 legs allow them. That's no life. Out here it's wild, and it's free. We come and go as we please." He finished his speech without a proud spit, and then meowed mischievously. "Until you've tasted a fresh kill mouse, you haven't lived. Have you ever tasted a mouse?" "No," Rusty admitted a little offensively. "Not yet." "I guess you'll never understand," Graypaw sighed. "You weren't born wild. It makes a big difference. You need to be born with warrior blood in your veins, or the feel of a wind in your whiskers. Kitties born in 2-legged nests could never feel the same way." Rusty remembered the way he had felt in his dreams. "That's not true," he mewed indignantly. Graypaw did not reply. He suddenly stiffened mid-lick, and one paw still raised, and sniffed the air. "I smell cats from my clan," he hissed. "You should go. They won't be pleased to find you hunting in our territory." Rusty looked around, wondering how Graypaw knew any cat was approaching. He couldn't smell anything different on the leaf-scented breeze, but his fur stood on end at the note of the urgency in Graypaw's voice. "Quick!" hissed Graypaw again. "Run!" Rusty prepared to spring into the bushes, not knowing which way was safe to jump. It was too late. A voice mewed behind him, firm and menacing. "What's going on here?" Rusty turned to see a large gray she-cat strolling majestically out from the undergrowth. She was magnificent, white hair streaked from her muzzle, and an ugly scar parted the fur across her shoulders, but her smooth gray coat shone like silver in the moonlight. "Blue Star!" Beside Rusty, Graypaw crouched down and narrowed his eyes. He crouched even lower when a second cat, a handsome golden tabby, followed the gray cat into the clearing. You shouldn't be so near Two Legs, Gray Paw, growled the golden tabby angrily and narrowing his green eyes. I know, Lionheart, I'm sorry. Gray Paw looked down at his paws. Rusty copied Gray Paw and crouched low to the forest floor, his ears twitching nervously. These cats had an air of strength he had never seen in any of his garden friends. Maybe that Smudge had warned him about was true. Who is this? Asked the sea cat. Rusty flinched as she turned her gaze on him. Her piercing blue eyes made him feel even more vulnerable. He's no threat, mewed Gray Paw quickly. He's not another cat warrior clan, just a two-leg pet from beyond our territories. Just a two-leg pet? The words inflamed Rusty, but he held his tongue. The warning look in Blue Star's stare told him that she had observed the anger in his eyes, and he looked away. This is Blue Star. She's leader of ThunderClan, Gray Paw hissed to Rusty under his breath. And Lionheart, he's my mentor, which means he's training me to be a warrior. Thank you for the introduction, Gray Paw, hailed Lionheart coolly. Blue Star was still staring at Rusty. You fight well for a two-legged pet, she meowed. Rusty and Gray Paw exchanged confused glances. How could she know? I've been watching you both, Blue Star went on, as if she had read their thoughts. We wondered how you would deal with an intruder, Gray Paw. You attacked him bravely. Gray Paw looked pleased at Blue Star's praise. Sit up, both of you. Blue Star looked at Rusty. You too, kitty pet. He sat up immediately and held Blue Star's gaze evenly as she addressed him. You've reacted well to the attack, kitty pet. Gray Paw is stronger than you, but you use your wits to defend yourself, and you turned to face him when he chased you. I've not seen a kitty pet do that before. Rusty managed to nod his thanks, taken aback by such unexpected praise. Her next words surprised him even more. I've been wondering how you would perform out here beyond the two-leg place. We patrol this border frequently, so I've often seen you sitting on your boundary, staring out into the woods. And now, at last, you have dared to place your paws here. Blue Star stared at Rusty thoughtfully. You do seem to have a natural hunting ability. Sharp eyes. You would have caught that mouse if you did not hesitate so long. Really? Rusty stammered. Lionheart spoke now. His deep meow was respectful but insistent. Blue Star, this is a kitty pet. He should not be hunting in the ThunderClan territory. Send him home to his two legs. Rusty pricked up at Lionheart's dismissive words. Send me home, he mewed impatiently. Blue Star's words had made him glow with pride. She had noticed him. She had been impressed by him. But I've only come here to hunt for a mouse or two. I'm sure there's enough to go around. Blue Star had turned her head to acknowledge Lionheart's words. Now her gaze snapped back to Rusty. Her blue eyes were blazing with anger. There's never enough to go around, she spat. If you didn't live life such a soft, overfed life, you would know that. Rusty was confused by Blue Star's sudden range, but one glance at her horrified look on Gray Paw's face was enough to tell him he had spoken too freely. Lionheart stepped to his leader's side. Both warriors loomed over him now. Rusty looked into Blue Star's threatening stare, and his pride dissolved. These were not cozy fireside cats he was dealing with. They were mean, hungry cats who were probably going to finish what Gray Paw had started.